Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Enrichment on the Go. And I'm going to be talking about something that's very, very dear to my heart, which is how to start, launch, and grow your childcare facility. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. I've been on this journey in the field of early childhood education for 15 years. 15 years, I have been an entrepreneur and an early childhood educator. I did not start out in this field. It was always a desire of my heart to work with children. And so at some point, I took the leap of faith and went into the field of early childhood education. And not only did I go into the field of early childhood education, I opened my own business. And I've been in business for 15 years. So I really want to talk about this because I want to help you along with your journey if you are endeavoring to go and launch into the deep, as what I like to call it, which is entrepreneurship. It's going to take some tenacity. It's going to take some grit. It's going to take some long nights. It's going to take almost like you're a little tired, right? But it is a great field to be in, and you have to have a passion for what you are doing. There is no way that you will last because the money is not going to sustain you. However, you are in business, so you want to make money, but you always want to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, right? Because people are trusting you with little lives. All right. So let's discuss it. Let's discuss. You first off, you want to register the name of your business. You can do this through the state. First, you want to make sure it's available. The name is available with your state, and then you want to register it with IRS. Okay, and so you can do that even before you go off and get go to licensing to see what is needed of you. You want to register your name because you don't want anyone else to have your name. So you want to register your name, and you want to look at the business structure of what you want your name, how you want to operate your business. Okay, so do you want to be a sole proprietor? Do you want to be an LLC? Okay. Do you want to have a board? These are things you have to ask yourself and look at. Okay. When I started out, I was a sole proprietor, meaning that, everything was on me. If something were to transpire where the family, if someone wanted to sue me personally, they could do so as a sole proprietor. So that's one of the downsides to being a sole proprietor. However, it is if you have to start out that way, then you start out that way. But we're going to talk about you having a budget and things of that nature. But if you want to start out as a sole proprietor and then change, you can always change, the structure of your business. So if you want to register the name, you want to go ahead and do that. All right. And you definitely want to do that. Loving Hands Enrichment Daycare is the name that is registered, but I also have Loving Hands Enrichment Center is my DBA, doing business as. So you really have to be business savvy if you're going to start, um, launch, and grow a child care facility. All right. So you want to register your name, and then you want to go to the orientation. Every state has an orientation. So you need to look at, let's take a look, because think about this. When you're starting a business, if you're doing it in your home, your family is going to be a part of that. You want to make sure that your family is on board with what you're doing, right? You really need to make sure that your family is on board with what you're doing. Okay. So you have to make sure that they're on board, because they're going to be an intricate part if you are going to operate your child care facility within your home. All right. Everybody is going to be involved. They're going the state is going to come out and make sure that your home is safe. You want to look at that, and I'm going to go into that a little deeper in regards to launching and growing, actually growing your childcare facility. All right. So you have to look at registering and where you want to have your facility. So if you're looking for an outside facility, you have to do your due diligence. Okay. You need to know the codes, not just for the Office of Childcare, okay, or the Department of Education. You need to know zoning's regulations, and you need to know what the fire department is going to require of you to become licensed, because all three of those components are needed in order for you to even get your license. Okay. So before Office of Child Care comes out to look at your facility, after you've done orientation, because you're going to have to do orientation. All right. Zoning and the fire department have to come out. Not only come out, they have to approve you. They have to approve you before Office of Child Care comes out. Now, I want to just put this out here. You have to have some grit, grind, and tenacity. Is this your dream? Is this what you want to do? Do you love children? How long do you want to be in this field? Is this short term? Is this long term? These are all questions that you are going to have to ask yourself. Why am I doing it? Am I doing it just for money? I want you to ask yourself all of these questions, because when you're in the orientation, they're going to ask you these questions too. But I want to encourage every entrepreneur, who would love to make impact in a child's life. You are touching generations to come. So I want to give you tools, right, to help you along your journey and to be the best child care facility that you can be, whether that is a large family, whether that is a family child care provider, meaning you can only have 8 children. You may have a large family, which you can have up to 12 children. You may have a child care facility, right? And you can have 25 children, or you can have 40 children, or 60 children. I want you to be the best at what you're going to be doing, all right? Because you want it to be where you have the education, I'm going to talk about this, and the knowledge and skill base to do what you're doing. And everyone who works with you, if you have employees, if it's just you want to make sure. I remember starting out, and I wanted to do this. I was coming out of the private sector to start my own business. I knew nothing. I knew I loved children, but that wasn't going to be enough. People don't want to leave their children with someone who just loves children. You need to be educated in the field that you're going in, right? And so I think back then you only needed like 8 hours of training. And I remember telling my husband, there is no way that I would leave my child with somebody who's only had 8 hours of training. And I meant that, right? So I went, and I believe I had like 90 hours. I took a 90-hour course. Okay. So I went above and beyond what was required. And this is what I really want to get at with you all as business owners. And, when you're launching, think as a parent. If, some facilities open and you don't have children. Okay. So you could be a little, and don't take this the wrong way. You could be a little insensitive because all you see is a dollar. But when you're a parent, you think like a parent. So you're a business owner, but you think like a parent. All right. And so would I drop my child off with someone who's only had 8 hours of training? No. I'll answer that. It's rhetorical. No. All right. So I went and I got 90 hours. So look at what the orientation, and they've gotten much stricter. Each state is different. I live in Maryland, and so Maryland's laws are very strict. And I love that. I love that they care enough about children's well being and their safety to ensure that the people that are going to be in this field are providing the best care. All right. So you have to look at your knowledge base. Okay, you're going to go to the orientation. They're going to give you this huge packet that you have to work through, write through, talk through, right? And good thing for you, I'm launching an academy for those who want to be in the field of early childhood education. So you can click on the link in this episode and you will go right into that. All right. So you can join our community there. But what I want to talk to you about is that you are going to have to meet all of these demands. Okay. And it's going to take money. Have a plan in place. It may not be, sometimes they'll tell you, depending on what you need to do in your home. I'm not going to drop all the deets here, but there are going to be some things you need to do within your home to make sure that, and I'm not even talking about what you have in the childcare piece. I'm talking about structurally in your home. You need to make sure some things are in place. But I'm not going to drop all the deets because I want you to join the academy. All right. But there will be they will be in your orientation package. So I want you to think about location. Discuss location. Think about where you want to put your facility. All right. Even if it's your home, or you're about to purchase a home and you want to do childcare, where are we going to live? Where is it going to be readily and easily accessible for parents, right? Are they going to be able to get in and out of this place, one, in a safe manner, and two, maybe most parents are going to work, right? So where's my location? Let's keep talking. You're not going to service every family. There's no way. No facility can service every single family. That would be great, but not there's a limit. There's a capacity. All right. So what's my capacity? What's my location? These are things you want to look at, right? What's my operating budget? If it's $500 that you're starting with, most states, they have grants. I'm gonna drop a few deets. Okay. They have grants that will assist you with startup. Okay. If you have done everything you needed to do. Okay. So you're going to go to orientation. Now, you getting your license, from the time of you going to orientation to you getting your actual license, can be anywhere from 6 months to a year, or longer, if you have not met all of the requirements from the fire department, zoning, and the Office of Child Care. Okay, so it depends. So I need you to have some grit, some grind. I need you to be patient, but I need you to look at location. All right. Location is going to be key. All right. You need to look at the location of where you're going to be. While you're in the midst of doing all of this to start up your facility, you should be working on a business plan. When I started, I did not have a business plan. My business plan came along later on. I suggest you get a business plan in advance. That doesn't mean you can't work the business plan as you are moving forward to obtain your license for your childcare facility. Okay. But if you are going for a business loan, they want to see, most of them want to see a business plan. They want to see that you have a bank account, all right, open for your business. Okay. And we're going to get into that. All right. Because let's say about this launching, you want to be professional, and you can't launch your childcare. You can't even promote your childcare until you have your license, not in the state of Maryland, or you could say soon coming, but you really can't, because you're supposed to make sure that you have your license in hand. Okay, so you don't want to start saying soon coming and parents want to put deposits down, and then there's a screech in you obtaining your license. Now you have people's money, and people are going to start suing you. You want to make sure that you're saying, yes, we're coming, or you get a wait list or something of that nature, but you don't want to promise something that you can't deliver on, especially not in business period, but not in childcare. Okay. That's just what I live by. You don't want to deliver something you can't promise something you can't deliver. Excuse me. You don't want to promise something that you can't deliver. All right. So let's discuss regulations. You want to make sure that you are meeting all of the regulations of the Office of Child Care, the fire department, and zoning. They're going to give you a license. Okay. You may have to put up exit signs at the doors. I'm going to give you all some of the stuff, and they'll come in and tell you what you need to do. It may be where you need to put up an exit sign. I remember when I needed to, zoning came in, and they told me that I needed to, my facility currently is in the home. And they said I needed exit signs. They said I needed the exit signs like they have in the stores, the big bulky exit signs that light up. They just actually what they told me is that I needed exit signs that light up. Okay. That doesn't mean I had to go out and spend $500 on the exit signs. I got the sticker exit signs that glow in the dark. They light up. All right. So you have to be very savvy as a business owner. You have to be so savvy, right? So you have to see what they're actually asking for. What are the requirements? All right. And so in your launch, it's all of your promotional items. What are they presenting? Do they present quality? Okay. I recommend, nowadays, when I first started, there weren't as many resources as there are now. They were much more expensive 15 years ago. You can go to Fiverr. There's so many places you can go to get marketing and branding at an inexpensive rate, right? But you want to, your flyers, social media, you have to have a social media page. And social media is free, right? So Facebook, Instagram, right? You want to promote, okay? But you want to be safe in what you're promoting and how you're launching, okay? You want to promote your business in a professional manner, so you don't want to answer for hello. Hello, this is ABC. How can I help you? You don't want to have that tone. You have to have a business demeanor. You want people to leave their child with you. And if you answer the phone like that, I'm not calling back. You make sure, when you're getting ready to launch, I want you to walk your space from a perspective of a parent, not the owner, the parent. Okay. I want you to walk the space with the perspective or the eyes of a parent. Okay. So you're going to launch. Before your launch date, you may have to do walkthroughs or open house. Open houses are great. Okay. You can have an open house. You can put flyers out. You can let parents know that there's an open house coming. You could just maybe put something out, but you really want to promote. Okay. And let me say this, word of mouth will always and forever be the best form of advertising. Word of mouth is going to take you, it's going to make you or break you with your families. Okay. So, there may be this huge center, but that doesn't mean that they're quality. You want quality. Parents are always going to want quality over quantity. Okay. And they're going to want to make sure that their children are safe, nurtured, and learning. If the child wants you as the person that's going to launch this facility and grow it, if you have all of the safety measures in place and the children are being nurtured, learning is going to automatically take place. It's a no-brainer. All right. So your regulations you have to follow. You have to make sure you have all of your policies and procedures. You have to know what Office of Child Care wants. Please, 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 please make sure that you keep your records up to date. So you're going to have an emergency plan in place. Okay. You're going to have a handbook, contracts. I even suggest mentoring, and that's why we are going to launch this provider academy, or for people that have already been in the field or those who are aspiring to be, right? You need handbooks, you need mentoring, you need people who are like-minded in the field. You don't need 50 people, but you do want one or two that can assist you. I've had colleagues that, I have one dear colleague, very dear to my heart. Her name is Rhonda. And, I would call her. You want someone before you make a rash decision that you can speak to, right? You want someone who knows the field and how do we talk through this? Because what you want to do is always provide quality care. Now, there may be times where, you may have to let a family go, but you have to set standards, boundaries, and do them respectfully. I can't express that enough. Everything has to be done respectfully, and because when it comes to your business, and especially when you're dealing with families, it can be a very sensitive issue. When you're dealing with children, it's very sensitive. So you really want to make sure that you are doing it respectfully, and you want to make sure that your parents are doing it respectfully. Okay. So you really want to make sure that you're putting forth all of this information up front, making sure that you're not hiding anything. You want to, let parents look at the facility. I know with COVID, I could drop all the deets here, but again, I want you to join our academy and build this great community. All right. So if you want to grow your facility, what does that look like? Initially, you may have to start out on your own, especially if you're going to grow it or do it within your home, right? You may have to do everything. You may have to be the cook. You may have to prepare the lessons, the day, have your daily routine for the children. Children need daily routines. Okay. Parents need daily routines. You as the provider, or the staff need a routine. Okay. So you are going to have to put all of this together. And I remember when I started, I was a sole proprietor, and now I'm an LLC. And, I did it all, from opening up to closing to, and I started with my children in the home with me. That's not why I started a childcare, because I would have been content. I could have been content being a stay-at-home mom or working from home with my children, but I love children. And so that's why I started the facility, and my children were, it was great because my children were able to be a part of it. I was able to be a part of nurturing them in their development and be there as their mom. But that's not why I started the business, okay, or launching. That's not why I started a childcare facility. That's not why I launched it. And that's not how I've been able to sustain my growth, is because of my children. No, they were a part of it. And I suggest, if you're doing it in your home, Make sure that your children are following the routine too. And that's what I want to talk about, the growth part of your child care facility. Ever. You want to make sure you're presenting the best product, right? So, what does that look like? You providing the best product, okay? You providing the best quality product means that you can't have everyone over your home during your operating hours. It's not even um, that's not something that the Office of Child Care allots for, and they're not going to be able to monitor you all the time. They are definitely monitoring, but you don't want to have anyone that could potentially harm the children. You want to make sure that you are providing a safe environment. What does that look like? And you really need to be thinking about that. All right. So I want you to, again, look outside of yourself and think about the sacrifices. Because if it's in your home, if the child care facility is in your home, it's a sacrifice. I'm not going to tell you that it's not a sacrifice. All right. It's a sacrifice. But it's a wonderful field to be in. I wouldn't trade it. Okay. So when I started, I told you all I started out with 90 hours. Okay. And then I went and got my associate's degree, right? I didn't do this at the beginning, but I did get my associate's degree. Excuse me. I got my associate's degree. 2 years later, I pursued my bachelor's degree. All right. 2 years later, or yeah, 2 years later after that, after I finished that, I got my master's. Whoop, 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 whoop. I have my master's in early childhood studies in management, leadership, and administration, right? So, as an educator, if you're educating children, your education has to be continuous. I'm not saying you need to get your master's, but I am saying that you have to stay abreast of what's going on in the field of early childhood development. Yes, your education is going to have to be continuous. All right. And there are many things that, many programs that you can get into. So I got my degree from, I obtained my associate's and my bachelor's degree for free. Yes, all caps, FREE, for free. Okay. And I did that through a grant that the state had. Again, I'm not going to drop it all here because I want you to join the academy. All right. The enrichment program for providers. However, it is there for you. Okay. So you can get your education, you can grow your business. There are associations that you can become a part of. I'm not going to name them all, but you may join a local association within your state. All right. And yes, that's fine. You can do that. And I would suggest it if you like it. I am very, what I found to um, I'm a very innovative person. And so I really like-minded people. If it's in your home, even if it's not in your home, do not run your business like a mom and pop. You are running a business. It's not a mom and pop. Yes, you care for the children, and your children may be in the program, and you love up on the children and things of that nature, but run your business like a business, and that may take time for you, but you have to always present, put things in place and never stop, uh, doing what's best for your business. Not what's best for you, but for the business. All right. You're included in the business, but you have to think about the business. So let me give you an example. The facility, the childcare facility, whether it's in my home or I have a center, I have to think about the totality of the business. Okay. So if I have a staffer and I have to cut back their hours because of what's going on in the center, or there are not enough children in the center, that's why you have to always keep your budget and look at your numbers. Okay. Maybe you have to go up on tuition. Maybe you need to lower tuition. Maybe you need to run a special. Okay. So I want to give you some tools. Maybe you need to waive a registration fee. I want to give you tools that are going to help you with your children, but you are selling not only the business, you're selling yourself. Okay. And you have to sell yourself in order for people to want to bring their child to you or into your program. You have to sell the facility, the staff, you have to sell the curriculum. What are the children learning? Okay. And what resources are you going to have in place for parents to be able to feel comfortable with their child being in your program? All right. So to grow your facility, you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. All right. Consistent in meal planning. How are you going to serve the meals? Are you going to make the meals? Are you going to have the meals come in? Are you going to allow parents to bring in the meals? All of these things are questions that you as the owner are going to have to answer. Are your hours, what are your hours going to be? Okay. Childcare, this industry is very long hours, and it can be very volatile. The childcare industry can be a very volatile industry. Okay. So what you're looking for in a with your childcare facility, first and foremost, is longevity. If you can keep the longevity, then that's what you're looking for. But I want you to be a little more flexible than just the longevity. Maybe a parent needs drop-in care. Maybe a parent needs part-time care. Maybe a parent needs full-time care. Maybe a parent needs aftercare. Maybe a parent needs before care. Maybe a parent needs before and after care. These are all questions that you are going to have to answer and see if you are willing to provide that part of as a service. And if you are not, it is okay. If you have to cut back on that, or whatever it may be in regards to being able to meet the demand of the center, you have to make sure that the staff is trained. Are you willing to have your staff trained? Are you willing to pay for it? Are you willing to find resources that your staff can be, their trainees can be paid? All right. All of these are questions that you are going to have to answer. And not only is the parent interviewing you when the child comes to your facility, you are interviewing the family. All right. So you have to have different forms in place, get as much insight into the family as you possibly can prior to them coming into your program. But that may not be the end all. You may not see it all until they come in. All right. So there's an intake form. There's some things that I have created that if you wanted to join the academy to know more about that, or the enrichment piece for providers, then you can, the link will be here. But these are all questions that you're going to have to ask yourself. And what I would like for you to do is, when you start, have an exit plan. Is this something I want to do long term? Okay. Or maybe I'm starting in my home. However, I'm starting in my home and now I want to move the facility out. Or maybe you just want to wait and start the facility outside of your home. All of these are questions you're going to have to ask yourself, because if you have a family, it may be best for you you have young children, it may be best for you to have the facility in the home. There are many write-offs, okay, to having the facility in your home. But I would like for you to have an exit plan as you start. And for me, I never wanted to stay in the home. My goal was not to have my facility stay in the home forever. Okay, that's still my goal. So how do I get to the other side? And so you all need to have these pieces in place ahead of time. And so my husband and I, we sat down because we were going to have our, I remember we had our first child and we only wanted to have two children. All right. And so I knew I did not want to start childcare and I was pregnant. That was not happening over here. Okay. So we waited. We found a home where we knew we would want to have a basement because I knew that I wanted to have a child care facility at some point, right? So we got pregnant again, and we had a wonderful, we have a wonderful son, our second child, and then while we were in that process, or after we had the child, we were in the interim of me having him. We had started the process for the child care to become licensed. It took quite some time back then, and I had to be persistent. I did have to go back to work for about 2 months, I think, a month, 2 months, because I had yet to receive the license, and I had to remain and become adamant. I had to become adamant because I had done everything they asked me to do and they were holding my license. So I had to call every day. I was very kind. And then I also had to send emails every day, once a day, along with my call because I needed my license, because you are not allowed to um, even promote the business without the license. Okay. So I had to get that in to play so that I could promote my business. All right. So, and I had people that wanted to wait, but because I didn't have the license, they had to find childcare. So these are all things I want to give you some, I just want you to have the reality of what it's going to take, and have a try to the best of your ability to have a timeline as close as you can. So that's why I am suggesting that, maybe you not try to promote it. And I know that's a very hard place to be because you're trying to get started. You want to leave your job. So you really need to just think about that. Look at that. But listen, mom, if you're home with your children and you love children, this is a great opportunity to jump into entrepreneurship. And so I admonish you to look into it if that's something you want to do. If you all are interested in more mentoring and uh, a community, then again, you can look into that through what we have. And or you could look into it through your local facility, um, there are local groups that you can join, but you really want to look for like-minded people. And I didn't go back to that. I wanted it. I've always wanted a community or work with providers, mentors who had a business mind and were not running their business like a mom and pop. So that was always important for me because I wanted to be sustained in my business. You all know small businesses, in the first 5 years, if most small businesses in the first 5 years don't survive. Okay, so I'm telling you tips, tools, resources so that you can survive the first 5 years because you want longevity. And so 15 years in, and I'm not saying that some of the times haven't been hard, but you have to be willing to adapt, adjust to what's going on, even i.e. COVID, right? We're living in a time of COVID. And so families, need care, but you have to make sure your family's safe or even your staff is safe. So you have to take safety precautions. This is where I was talking about policies and procedures that you have to make sure you have in place. This is all of how you grow. You start, launch, and grow a childcare facility. Okay. You want to make sure your staff is trained. You want to empower your parents to be the best advocate they can for their child. We do parent teacher conferences at my center. We do parent teacher conferences, even though the children are young. We do questionnaires, developmentally appropriate questionnaires. We make observations. All right. We do inclusion for children with special needs. We work with the resource center. We work with local agencies to assist our families and the staff to meet the demands of the child. And again, that went back to what I first asked you all in the beginning of this episode. Why are you in the field? Why are you going into the field? It has to be for the development and the well-being of children. That has to remain your focus. Even when the times are hard, it has to remain your focus that you are impacting a generation or generations to come. So, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you've learned something. Please check into your state agencies to see what is needed to start the facility, and get on your grind so that you can impact the next generation. Thank you for tuning in.